We are Nerd Cult Online, and this is Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader Void Shadows DLC review from Owlcat Games.
Lord Captain, as per your request, I've prepared a report on that group from the lower decks that caught your attention. It is a death cult named the Bloodspun Web, worshipping the Emperor by sacrificing his foes in the darkest depths of your void ship, in places where even your most capable enforcers have no influence. Although the rituals of the Bloodspun Web may seem outright disturbing to outsiders, it has been serving House von Valancius for generations. The Spinners too fought against the thrice-damned heretic Voitvir. Your predecessors paid the cult little heed, but new threats compel you to change that. Kibella, the cult's most accomplished assassin, has been given the honor of serving as its second spinner. Her devotion and her deadly combat skills have already been proven beyond a doubt. She has professed her desire to cut down enemies in your name, to defend you from those who lurk in the shadows. So, Lord Captain, will you accept my service?
Now, for those that have already played the game and gotten decently far, I do regret to inform you that depending on some of the settings and choices, that it doesn't always trigger the DLC options within the game and to initiate the story. And so it is our recommendation that you actually start the game over if you want to bring in the DLC and progress with it. Overall, the DLC does bring a lot of really cool missions. We had a lot of fun with it. This is us basically setting up a new game and going forward. Now, unfortunately, when we did do the DLC missions with ours, using our old save, completely saved over it after we spent some time in it and exploring it before we actually recorded our videos, and were unable to get to the end, to the point where we needed to in order to bring the character and that storyline back in before we needed to get our review out. So the folks at Owlcat were kind enough to share both the core game and the DLC with us, and we definitely appreciate that. But as always, it in no way affects our opinions on the game itself. Now, I don't know if it's just glitchy in the kind of quasi-requiring you start over versus actually incorporating those missions into the game as soon as you load them in, or that some other people have screwed it up along the way when trying to do it. And I have a feeling that it's probably more user error, but just to be safe, we went ahead and started this new save. Now, we did realize after the fact that it actually was kind of a happy accident for us, because we had actually missed the achievement for going through the tutorial and defeating the Chaos Spawn without allowing the Chaos Spawn to eat any of the enemies that are on the map at the same time. So at the end of this video, you're actually going to get to see exactly how we did that on our first try, actually intending to do that exact outcome. But mostly this is, you get that footage while we're doing it, but we're just going to be talking about Void Shadows. Now, as we go, this is us basically initiating the DLC into the core game from at the very beginning. Or not the core game, but the DLC into it. And Once you do that into the game, there's no way to undo it. So you gotta make sure that, you know, it's not going to impact the playthrough that you actually want to do in a negative way of any sort. I'm not aware of any situations that where you lose options by starting the incorporating the DLC from the beginning. But again, figure better safe than sorry to do it at the very beginning to make sure that you don't have any issues. I'm hoping that that won't be a necessary for the next DLC that comes out, which from what I understand, they are planning on more stories, more chapters coming out. Now, Void Shadows adds about 15 hours of additional gameplay. And as you saw in the trailer, you do get a new character for your war party. And honestly, in both aesthetic and playability, she's actually by far one of my favorites, just because I've always preferred in games of Warhammer, whether you know it's video game or tabletop, that I do more of a hand-to-hand approach. Basically, charge in there, get in there, just shred people, and basically get out as quick as I can, and you know essentially overwhelm them with sheer force. Now, the bulk of our playthrough with this game, prior to starting it over, we literally did almost everything with a ranged attack to give us the best options for survivability in almost every scenario. And when you have pretty much all of your characters excel at longer range, it's kind of hard to justify risking them by bringing them in close. And so this DLC basically gives you that opportunity without it being as detrimental as using some of the other characters too, and definitely giving you a lot more options as far as their playability in that regard. So you basically have everybody, you know, behind her, light them up with last fire or psychic abilities, and then you bring her in and just bomb rush them and just tear them apart with those blades. But overall, in game, again, she's by far my favorite character that we've unlocked to date. And again, that's not just looks, aesthetic. It's total gameplay. Just because she fits my style of gameplay more than the rest of the characters do. But the chapters themselves are actually very engaging. I love how deep it goes into the lore of 40k and bringing in the Gene Stealer cults. I thought was actually a cool touch. I'm not aware of any actual like novels that involve void ships basically coming under attack by the Gene Stealer cults and trying to be overrun by them, like this does. And so I definitely felt like that was a more unique, more original storyline than we typically get in most Warhammer games, and so I really liked that fact. But the risk of missing out on some of the missions because of being too far in the storyline for some players, I think is too much of a risk and should not have to start the game over in order to be able to really play them. I'm certain that that's not the intent, and like I said, it's probably something to do with user error, but I've seen enough reports of it that definitely makes me wonder if there's something bigger involved. And I definitely feel sorry for those that had to start over like I did. But again, in this case, mine was completely user error where I accidentally overwrote my save file and completely screwed up the challenges and the missions that I was working on because I made the wrong choice and realized which option I wanted to do instead. So I couldn't backtrack anymore, and it was a big enough deviation that I didn't like that I felt the need to go back. And so we did. But overall, we continue to have a great time with this game. The Void Shadows DLC is a great addition. I love that they expanded more on the ship and we get to see a lot more into how the ship is structured versus how the the rest of the Imperium handles things as well, versus Rogue Traders, because there's really so little lore or stories involving Rogue Traders in general, other than them just ferrying Space Marines from one place to another, or ferrying the Guardsmen from one place to another, or getting an item at the last minute. And so I think being able to play this and expand on that type of character that just gets so little attention, I really liked, and I think the team did a fantastic job with that. But overall, like I said, definitely found the DLC to be very engaging, a lot of fun, loved the new character, and I'm definitely curious to see what they come out with next for the next chapters that they add. But for the rest of this, go ahead and enjoy the rest of our playthrough, where we finally wreck the Chaos Spawn and managed to do it without a single character being lost, and on a hard enough difficulty where we actually unlock the achievement at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys as always for watching. I'll catch you next time.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones.
How dare you strike at the Emperor's faithful?
It will be done. Pain and duty go hand in hand.
They who discern the future own the battlefield. Not the scryer's joy.
Just a minor setback. Stay vigilant. That was insulting. My tactics are flawless. Suits my purposes. Nowhere to hide. Not a problem for me. Suits my purposes.
Doubt is for the weak.
Follow my lead. I'm not interested. The healing is much appreciated. Indeed.
Will do. Anything else?
I've suffered worse.
Nothing I can't do. Already done.
Victory is imminent. Someone else can do this. I will do my duty.
Will do.
Pain and beauty go hand in hand.
Suits my purposes. All too easy.
It's nothing.
At your beck and call. It will be done. Brace yourself, Avalon.
Cover me. But of course, what an unfortunate turn of fate.
A new challenge for me.
I'm at your service. We are the spearhead of the Imperium.